gentlemen, boys and girls, and people of all ages, we return for the Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals. Round 3 from Daytona Roval. I'm JP. I'm going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Alex Goldschmidt, who's going to come along for the double races that we've got for you tonight. Race 1 is 8 laps. And 14 laps for race number 2. So, looking forward to this one. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Standings up to date at the moment. Simon Edwards leads the way in the SR10. Alexander Schuchka in second in the SR8. Then we've got Christoph Lipp in a 10. Heinz Braun in a 10. And George Gonzaga also in a SR10. Robert Woodward in 6. Marcus Lang and Christian Schuchka 6th, 7th and 8th. They're in an SR8 respectively. Then Bruno Vitorino and Stefan Mellis round out the top 10. They're in a 10 and an 8. It's going to be very, very interesting here this evening as well. We've got 17 cars on the circuit, a good mix of 8s and 10s, and it's been the 8s at the moment that has been taking it up front. You can, well, saying that, as I say that in qualifying, it's a completely different story. It's the 10s. From the practice that I've been watching with Alex alongside me, it was the 8s, but let's bring Alex into the booth. Alex, welcome in, bud. How are you?
Evening, JP. Evening, everybody. Good to be back for the Battle of the Radicals. It's always a great way to see both the SR8s and the SR10s battling away in 2 respective championships, but still, the SR8s can sometimes get the better of the SR10s, as we've seen previously, buddy.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. This is a great concept, and I think George has done really well with the Radical Race Series. He's taken it on this year, and he's brought in this whole bundle of the Radicals, SR8s and 10s. Couldn't quite decide which one would be the best, so they brought them both together, and I think it works well. And each track does suit each car, and you know, I'm an SR8 stalwart almost, but I prefer the 8 over the 10. I don't like the 10 at all. But there is some people in here that prefer the 8s, and this gives them an opportunity to put them on the same race circuit around this iconic circuit, of course. And it's one that we know and one that we've, you know, commentated on that a plethora of amounts of times. Like, I don't even know if it's in the hundreds anymore. I think we're up past that, to be honest. But I think this could be an exciting one here at Daytona. Strong draft track, obviously used for NASCAR, running around a clean oval, so we know that the draft is strong here, and it's strong in these cars as well. Yeah,
I mean, especially as there's a lot of hype building up to the to this weekend's iRacing. Well, first major special event. It's the iRacing Daytona 24 powered by VCO. And I've commentated, I think this will be the 3rd time in a week that I've commentated at Daytona International Speedway, of course, the World Centre of Racing. The road course opened back in 1985. It measures just over 3.5 miles, but it's got a lot of technicality along with that sheer brute straight line speed that we'll see. And then you've got the bankings to consider as well. You know, the oval turns 31 degrees worth of banking, the tri-oval on the front stretch 18 degrees, and then in the infield it's flatter than the Netherlands.
Yes, that's the thing, isn't it? We go from this high banking, and to be fair, this is really weird because the infield section is probably more boring than Indianapolis's infield, but Indy's track in general, I find it depressing, to be honest with you, because they don't utilise the oval, which sucks for me. They come out just below it and they use like the apron bit all the way around, and I prefer them to go high and use the oval. I suppose that's probably why somehow Daytona's actually loved more than circuits like Indy, and I think Homestead Miami's got one as well, because of the fact that it utilises the banking. It's got this bus stop chicane in it, which isn't called the bus stop chicane anymore, is it? They've called it something else now. Le Mans. The Le Mans chicane.
because there's been a bit of affiliation between the ACO and IMSA, and so they decided to stop calling the bus stop and called it the Le Mans chicane. But it is one that can catch these drivers out here. JP is the check. It is out for qualifying, and well, it is the the top 2, Simon Edwards and George Gonzaga. They are only, well, they're both under the 142s. Christian Schuchka in the 410 leads the SR8s, and he's P3. And let's see, can Simon improve on that last lap? No, 141.772. But Edwards, the man who really needs no introduction when it comes to radical racing, and the Radical Race Series, you know, he's won so many titles, I think we've both lost count.
Yeah, do you know what I am thinking now, though? How are they doing the starts? These cars are rear wheel on the banking, they're going to slide, and you might see them going down the banking with their back ends.
Probably, in the opposite direction of what we would see at Brands Hatch GP from a standing start if it was a rear-wheel drive.
It's going to go down. I wonder if they thought about that. This could be an interesting start, everybody. Anyway, guys, a YouTube chat as well. FreeZS. I can't pronounce the rest of it. Welcome in.
Wastaken, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, and Netian203 is in the YouTube chat as well. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us here as well. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, depending on which channel you're on. Of course, the Radical Race Series or the JPB YouTube channel. So tune in on both, like, subscribe on both. Why not? Give it a go. Ain't going to hurt. As Mr. Marcus Lane comes over the line, I think he's going into pit lane, actually, because otherwise that is a very weird line into the final corner. He is going into pit lane, and then we'll bring you up the grid. And then I'm interested to know how the start's going to go.
Yeah, indeed, definitely. It's going to be an interesting one, but yeah, 8 laps for the first race, then we got 14 laps for race 2, and then we invert the top 10 as always with the Battle of the Radicals. It's been like that for a few seasons now, and yeah, it'll be interesting how that changes things here at Daytona, but I would not like to be in that car if it's from a standing start on a tri-oval at 18 degrees banking, because, like you say, those rear tyres are going to light up like nobody's business. You're going to have this huge plume of smoke heading up towards poor old Barney, our flag marshal.
And nobody will be going anywhere. That's the problem. Simon Edwards is going to lead the way with George Gonzaga in second. Christian Schutzka is in third. Bruno Vinarino in fourth. Henry Sweetlake in fifth. Love that name. Alexander Schutzka in sixth. Then Marcus Lang and Heinz Braun round out 7 and 8. Phil Glover in 9 and Mehmet Akas in 10. Then Tobias Treschel in 11th. Fabio Regis is down in 12th place. Moving on is Robert Woodward and Graham Matthews. It is a rolling start. Fair play. Patricio Silva and Kevin Harwood, and then Stephen Mellis at the back end there as well. I'm so glad they've done a rolling start, because that standing start would have been very, very interesting indeed.
That would have been more than the word chaos. I think the word carnage would have been the other letter that you can start with, the letter C, when it comes to multiple cars going straight into one another and then whoops. Oh, dude, they did this one year at poor old Darrell Taylor when he was running the league, just got it all completely wrong. And they were on the standing start, and I've never seen so many back ends of SR10s go to the right-hand side, left-hand side, or right-hand side if you're looking at them. They all just went to the right, and it just looked like a pencil had broken. All the rear ends just went downwards, and they're all trying to get it off the line. It was quite a comical sight, but I am glad. You mentioned pencils. I've got this this noise in my ear of multiple HB pencils being snapped at the same time. Oh,
done that though, haven't we? Where you push it between your fingers, and all of a sudden it goes clink, and you're like, I'm a superhero. I did that with my fingers.
Like when you're an 8-year-old at school.
You think you're Tarzan.
I am He-Man. Something like, then someone else breaks 3, and you're like, oh,
yeah, don't do that.
You just stole my thunder. I'm not happy, miss. Why? He broke 3 pencils. I only broke 2.
Absolutely. Oh, dude, us old people. Right. Hello, FreeZS. Anyway, welcome in. Give us a name or something. It might be a little bit easier for us to pronounce as we're on this run. We're going to get this up and running. This first opening race of this evening, it is going to be 8 laps of Daytona. The pace car's going to peel in. Who's going to take the whole shot down into turn number 1? Everybody's bunching up. The pace car's moving away from the field. There's still not a lot of gap. I thought they might have given it a little bit more of a gap than that, but they haven't at the moment. And there you go, Simon Edwards on the inside. That's the official Geico restart zone for the NASCAR. Edwards can, of course, go whenever he likes, and he has gone. And now the round number 3, race number 1 is green. And it is Edwards getting the whole shot down into turn number 1. Gonzaga's on the outside. Christian Schutzka's got that second place away from Gonzaga. There's a contact further back. Fabio Regis has been off the side of the circuit. But Marcus Lang also made his way past George Gonzaga. Henry Sweetlake is now coming up as well. There's more contact further back. A couple of people, Alexander Schutz, Heinz Braun and Mehmet Akas, having a right little bit of a contact ding-dong. But George Gonzaga, unfortunately, lost 2 places, dropped all the way down the order, Alex, and did not get off the start really well, and unfortunately is fighting to get back up the field.
No, look at the dive and a half there. That was very much the case of how quick, how hard do you want to send it into the horseshoe at turn 5 as they come through turn 6 and 7 now. But yeah, like you say, George Gonzaga didn't get the power down and Shushka was quick to pounce. Then Marcus Lang saw the door open. Here comes Alexander Shushka in front as we ride on board with Henry Sweetlake in the number 6 car. They're going through turns 8 to 9 and then onto the backstretch, which has a mere 2 degrees of banking angle, next to nothing. In other words, flatter than a pancake on Shrove Tuesday. But you can see now it's starting to gather up at the front because Edwards is not quite getting away. Shushka is Christian Shushka's there. Marcus Lang, George Gonzaga. Then we're on board with Henry Sweetlake, who's got Alexander Shushka right up his rear wing. As you can see the speed that they are reaching coming through out of turn number 13 and heading their way to the tri-oval over 170 miles an hour. But Gonzaga in that SR10 gets through on Lang, gets through on Christian Shushka round the outside. Threading the eye of the needle does the man from Portugal go in the 113, and he gets second before they hit the apex at turn 1. Great job there.
And that is why the advantage is, if they can't stay close to Simon Edwards, the advantage is Edwards, because they've got a second, third and fourth. You really want to be 3 cars back. You want to be in that third spot because you get double the amount of draft from the cars in front. I would not do this. I would not, whatever Gonzaga and Shushka are doing right about now, where they're constantly battling, swapping places, don't do it, because it's so easy to get that second back. And if Edwards can get that second out in front, these guys are going to be chasing their tails constantly. So they've got to make sure that they are able to stay in this gap. They need these 3 temps because Gonzaga's already a second back. Sweetlake now as well. It's going to be tough for Gonzaga to get back onto this one.
Yeah, but keep your eyes on Christian Shushka in the 410. Look how close he is getting to the back of Simon Edwards as we come through out of turn 8 into turn 9 onto the backstretch once again here on lap 2 out of 8. And you can now see that in the SR10, a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more aero efficiency is helping Edwards contain that lead. But Sweetlake has now got through on Gonzaga, so they're swapping places coming out of all locations on the circuit. The Le Mans chicane is, Henry Sweetlake has just dropped it big time coming out of Le Mans. And that really hindered him. And to the outside, here comes Heinz Braun in the number 86. And then you've also got Marcus Lang, Bruno Vitorino, Mehmet Akers. And look at this, nearly 3 wide for position. And this is for P4 on the road. Sweetlake to the low side. Vitorino goes to the high side, and he's taking Mehmet Akers with him. And Akers has just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:41.9, and he's just gone through on Vitorino through at turn 1. And so the man from Turkey in the 89 is really on a bit of a tear at the moment as he's challenging Heinz Braun into turn 3. Braun gets a little bit slippery on the back end, and then all of a sudden the Turkish driver is very quickly through.
Absolutely. Simon Edwards is under a whole heap of pressure at the moment. Christian Shushka with him there. He did his 6th thumbnail deal with Mr. Sweetlake. Says Soul. He said, JS, call me Soul, whatever you want. Oh, all right.
Okay. All right, Soul. Thank you very much for that.
No naughty words. Can't call him them.
No, exactly.
You've got to be nice. Marcus Lang doing a great job at this moment in time. He's tucked in behind Bruno Vitorino. And this is the thing here. Mr. Poor old Sweetlake got a slowdown. The only trouble with Mr. Sweetlake is he was stuck right in the draft. And he had this slowdown all the way around the final corner, right up into turn number 1 when he had to try and get it off. And he did manage to get it off, but he's dropped all the way down to 9th place doing it in the process. It's a horrible place. Do not get a slowdown here again. He should learn his lesson, because otherwise he's going to be dropping even further. But battles developing further back as well. Phil Glover's got Mr. Robert Woodward and Fabio Regis for company closing in. Tobias Tichel's got Gomez behind there, and Graham Matthews has got Stefan Mellis right down further behind the camper vans when they come around the corner. There they are. But it is all kicking off again on this high draft circuit. You can see gaps appearing about a second and a bit back. Coming from the front, is come back down again. Gonzaga's back in. Alex, this is in, out, in, out. It's like doing the okey cokey with the times at the moment. They're second out, second in. It's bonkers.
Yeah. Your right foot in, your right foot out, in, out, in, out. You shake it all about. You do the hokey cokey. Well, that's what we've got here at Daytona. But look, Simon Edwards and Christian Schuschka are now away from George Gonzaga by the tune of about 1.6 seconds. So George has got to really, really watch his six very, very carefully, because he's got Brown, he's got Akas in front of him now. So the Turkish driver started P10 on the road at the rolling start, and the man from Prism Motorsport is now up into the final step of the rostrum. So Gonzaga losing even more time as Bruno Vitorino closing in on Heinz Braun in the number 86. Through they go at turns 8 and 9. The Brazilian closing in on the German. And Vitorino is going to make a decision here. Down the back stretch, does he go to the outside? Yes. And Brown starts to cover him off, but that might give the opportunity for the Brazilian to go for a dive bomb into the Le Mans chicane. But you never try and do that here, because you wait for the person in front to make an unforced error. But that looked pretty clean from Gonzaga, who's got back past Akas again for that third spot. So at the minute, Schuschka, he's right with Simon Edwards. That is about 0.2 of a second gap, but that SR10 of Edwards still having the legs on the SR8 of the German in the 410 at the moment. As we cross the line, complete lap number 4. We're halfway through here, JP. Another 4 laps remain here at Daytona for race 1. And Schuschka locks up the rears going into T1, and that's going to let Gonzaga close a big amount of time.
Yeah, he got it wrong, unfortunately, because she's just got too much speed going into 1. Marcus Lang slowly coming through. Mehmet Akas there is having to go with Heinz Braun. They're coming side by side on the way out of the horseshoe now on that run through the left-hander dogleg turn number 4. Then it's going to be into 5. Braun's got the inside line at the moment as they're continuing to fight. Akas has just chopped his nose off round 4. Braun is not going to be happy about that whatsoever. He's now got to ring up Kim Kardashian and get a nose job done from here, a literal operator there as well. But Heinz Braun, he ain't going to be too chuffed for that, because Akas gave him no room.
And Gonzaga made a big old pig's ear of, I think it was turn 5, and he's dropped down way behind Bruno Vitorino, who's going to the outside of Heinz Braun. This is Brave going through turn 8 and into turn 9 at over 160 miles an hour. They are pedaled to the metal. It is SR10 versus SR10, and more to the point, Braun is going to have the racing line here for the Le Mans chicane, and you can see gets a little bit of air going through the first part of it as they hit 100 miles an hour on the exit, and now Vitorino's got to do all that slipstreaming once again.
Yeah, he can't keep going high though. He can't keep going high. He's just scrubbing it off and off. He's got to get, if he's going to go high, he has literally got to be hugging him at the moment as Bruno Vitorino, and he has done so. He's running wide, but here's Gonzaga on the way through. Is he going to get all of them? Akas is all on his lonesome there. They're all coming at him. He's going to get swamped and eaten. Poor old Akas has gone down the order. He has lost a place to Schultz. He's lost a place, not Schultz, Vitorino, and he's lost a place to Gonzaga. He's managed to get Gonzaga back going into turn number 1 there, Alex. But this is strong showing that basically you don't need to be in that second place to catch the draft. He's basically, they're just flying from about 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, the biggest problem is that if you get that overspeed from the right-hand side on the high side of the banking, then you might be at the behest of everybody else, because you're going to try and sweep to the outsiders. Again, Vitorino defends briefly against Akas. Lock up on the right side by George Gonzaga. And that is not going to help the Portuguese driver, who's got Heinz Braun right on his rear wing and diffuser, as they're going to head out of turn 6 and 7 once again. But look at this, Sweet Lake up the inside of Alexander Schuschka. That's a possible opportunity for him to get through. He's got to keep it to that low side, but watch out. There comes the teammate of Alexander Schuschka. Marcus Lang makes it the SR10 meter of Sweet Lake in between an SR8 breaded sandwich.
Oh, he's trying to run it high. He did manage to get it done. His poor Sweet Lake moving forward. He's got 2.5 seconds to the guys in front. That's a big ask. They've got to tuck up. They've got to draft each other. It's literally NASCAR time, ladies and gentlemen. These three really should be nose to tail and bumping each other along, because otherwise that 2.2 is not going to come down in a hurry any more than this 2.5 that Bruno Vitorino's got to Schuschka in front. Again, Gonzaga's run high. Again, he's making it round the outside. outside, but again, he's going for it all the way through. Is he going to get all of them again? Gonzaga closing in once more. He has done the unthinkable. He's got them all. Heinz Braun's coming in. Vinorino's in there. He's got to shut the door off. Akas is trying to go around the outside of turn number 1. He runs wide. That allows Braun to come through. Gonzaga's made it through again. Alex, right the way back from 5th or 6th place, right the way to the front of 3rd, should we say, of this pack.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we know how aggressive George can be behind the wheel, and he's quite clearly showing it. He's finding that high line working, coming out of turn number 13 into the front stretch at the tri-oval, and then at 170 plus miles an hour, he just goes, right, I'm parking it. And there he goes. And Akas up the inside of Braun and now gets through on Vitorino. George Gonzaga is not out of the wilderness yet here in Florida.
No, absolutely not. These 3 going again. Gonzaga's going to be left there once more. This is literally going to be the scenario. I don't think, and I'm going to put this out there now, Alex, I don't think Shushka's even bothered to make a move yet. Him and Edwards have not swapped places. They have been close together, but they have not swapped places, and I don't think they're going to. We are going to run 3. Oh, please give me a 4 wide. Please give me a 4 wide on the next corner.
Then we know we have a coronary.
Oh, Jesus, dude. If we get 4 wide, I'll tell you what, I am screenshotting it, clipping it, and doing whatever else, because that would be absolutely amazing. I've had 4 wide once, and that was on MX-5s at VIR, and they were running around the last corner and going up the line, and they got 4 wide. That's the only time I've ever seen 4 wide on a race circuit. Bruno Vitorino, Akas going for it again. Heinz Braun, Gonzaga, you can see Schulzka. I think if this is going to be his lap now, I think Christian Schulzka is going to make this move on the end of this lap. I don't think he's even bothered to even try and get near Simon Edwards.
I think, to be honest with you, he'd need to be a hell of a lot closer than where he is now. I mean, he was 6 tenths behind Simon Edwards coming across the line as we are on the final lap of this opening race. So, but Edwards makes a mistake there through the Rodriguez International Horseshoe. The back end stepped out to the left-hand side. So Shushka says, well, maybe there is a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for the man from Germany.
He needs to do this coming out of, I still want to call it the bus stop. He needs to do it coming out of Le Mans. That's his only place. If he does it any earlier, Edwards will get him back out again because of the speed of that 10. He's got to do it coming out of Le Mans. There is no other option for him to do it. He needs to stay close, pull out, let it settle, go back in again. There you go. Then as soon as he comes out of Le Mans, he has got to be literally sniffing the fumes coming out of Simon Edwards' rear end. He's got to be tucked up behind him, and it is going to be a sprint. And I do mean it's a flat-out run to the line between these two. We'll keep an eye on these two. There's action behind. I can see them swapping on the timing tower. But this is the moment. This is it. What is going to happen? Shushka, blue and orange. Edwards in his multicolored traditional livery. Shushka's going to tuck up. What he doesn't want to do, he doesn't want to get pushed onto the outside. It's going to make it very, very difficult for Shushka at the moment. 160 mile an hour plus. He's going to be running. We have not got long left. He can't get close enough. He can't get close enough. Simon Edwards is going to take it in race number 1. He's going to take the big... Oh, no. Yes. How many laps is race number 1? It's only 8, isn't it?
Well, hang on, unless they've changed it, because it looks like we've got one more lap to go. They do say it's either laps or... Yeah, because we had 8 laps designated for this race, but looks like we've got a joker lap here, haven't we? So Shushka's still got an opportunity. And look how close he is to Edwards coming out of the Rodriguez International Horseshoe at turn 3. Now through the fast left kink here at 4. And then it's going to be hard on the brakes once again. So Shushka's really got to time his moment, but he's got to be literally within striking distance, probably 1.5 to 2 tenths behind Simon Edwards. And you can see that Shushka is teeing that up coming into turn 6 and 7. But as we've seen with the SR10, the SR8s get the traction down, but then as soon as those rear tyres bite to the purchase of the circuit, Edwards is able to get away. But Shushka is keeping within that 1/10 window, coming through out of turn 9. This could be game on for Christian Schuschka against Simon Edwards as they head to Le Mans for the final time.
We believe it's the final time. I'm a little bit worried. We've not had a white flag, and I've not seen Barney waving. So if anybody's got an update for us, please let us know, because as far as I was concerned, it was 8 and 14. If it isn't 8 and 14, and it's 9 or 10 or whatever is going to come out of this race now, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. Schuschka's got to close in again. Unfortunately, look at the time. It's going the wrong way. It should not be going up. Why is it going up, everybody? Why is it going up? It's going the wrong way. Barney's still not waving.
I don't understand this. I really don't understand this unless they've changed the schedule.
Hold on a minute. I've got an idea here. I'm going to do something I haven't done before. I'm going to pull.
Oh yes, you pulled Mr. Glover in.
He's driving around on his own.
Hello, guys.
Hello, mate. How many laps are you doing?
Well, as many as gets me to the end.
I thought it was only 8 laps.
No, it's a full hour session. We have to go in and take fuel.
Ah.
Since when?
Since it was agreed.
When was it agreed,
Hey,
Phil?
I can't believe that you're asking me details. I don't even know what course I'm on.
It makes a change, Phil, that you are my man with the knowledge. It really does.
Yeah.
But when did it change then? Because the website hasn't changed. We've still got 2 races.
I don't know. Ask George.
He ain't in the chat.
Okay.
I can't grab hold of him anymore.
Well,
I can't get hold of him.
You have to do with me, don't you?
Hey, listen,
Oh, well.
you're better than anyone, Phil. You know this. Listen, son, how was it going out there? You're just plodding around on your own, here.
It was going okay, and then I completely lost my braking marker. So, yeah, I'm having good fun. We'll wait and see what happens with the pit stop, I guess.
Yeah, well, you got Trish tucking in around you. You might pay attention and slip in behind him and let him tow you along a little
Yeah, I'll get him in second.
bit. All right, mate. Well, you carry over there, Phil. I'll pop you back. I'll grab you later on.
Yeah, no worries. See you later,
mate.
James.
Bye.
Good luck, Phil.
Oh, dearie me. We sound right proper professional now, Alex, don't we?
Oh,
Well, I'll
my
tell you
giddy
what.
aunt. All I'm going to say is we can blame somebody, as in someone's going to get the blame. But Sweet Lake and Lang are in the pit, so I think could we possibly be on for maybe a 2-stopper here, depending on how much fuel that they've put in the tanks on these cars, maybe.
Hold on, give me 2 seconds. I will tell you the fuel limits now. Let me. I'm going into the session. This is. I'm sorry, everybody. I feel like we've got this completely wrong. We have got it wrong, but I wasn't aware it changed. So the max fuel.
Well, they could have put it on the website.
They could have done, couldn't they? That would have made it easier for us. The max fuel is 75% on the SR8s and 85% on the SR10s, apparently. So there you go. I'm gonna. That's confused me now. Where's George? I'm gonna I've got to go through my messages. Have I missed anything?
Right, that depends on. Right, okay, so I think if it's the shorter tank, it'll be 54 litres for the SR8, and then for the SR10, just give me the information. The SR10 will normally have 77 litres. So if it's 77 litres, what was it again for the fuel limits?
85% on the SR10, 75 on the SR8s.
And I am using a calculator for this, so...
Oh dear, we're commentating and doing maths at the same time. That's never going to work.
So 65 litres for the SR10s, so that will probably mean... And then it was 65% you said for...
75
So it's
for the
85%,
SR8s.
so 75 for the SR8, so just under 58 litres. If it's the full 77 litre tank that is in both cars.
Okie dokie.
The only reason why I say that is that sometimes the SR8s came with either a 54 litre or 77 litre fuel tank.
Right, okay.
Depending on what was specified on build.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Thanks to the wonders of the internet for being able to rapidly find that out.
The old internet. Now everything's settled down, and we know we're going to be going for an hour, Alex. We can breathe a little bit, I suppose, because now all the short and hype has gone out the window, because it is not that. We're going for an hour run, and which means pit stops are going to come in. That brings a different, I don't think, to the guys at home, like you're sitting there going, ha, they just got it wrong, but it brings a different dimension to the broadcast. When it's short races like that, you know, me and Alex are climbing the wall and the action's taking shape and everything else. Now it's an hour. We actually get to sit down and talk about what's going on a lot more, because it gives us this time to be able to do that. And that's the thing. Edwards and Schutzke, I think Schutzke at the moment, Alex, with the shorter fuel, max fuel limit on the SR8s, he's probably saved a lot of fuel. I would have thought on that one. The same with anybody else that's really been following people around in the draft. Stefan Mellis and Gomez, or Silva, has been going absolutely mental. They've swapped quite a few times over the last few laps. In fact, they, on lap 11 alone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times apparently they swapped on one lap. So fair play to them for keeping it together and not actually taking each other out. Now this must be where Glover got his fuel, missed his braking point. Oh, he did. Where's he going?
Oh, exit stage right.
Yeah, I feel like Kate Winslet on the door for the Titanic. Come back! Come back! As Phil goes off into yonder.
Yeah, I mean, oh dear, that is not what Patricio Gomez Silva wanted to do there. You're going to see it right now that he's going to go wide to enter into turn 1, rotates the car in, back end steps out as he hits the loud pedal, and Stefan Mellis using his DJ skills to get one of his 9 cat lives back.
Shoots around the outside there as well. Glover's still got Treshel tucked in right behind him. Schutzke's still got Edwards in front. I think if Schutzke is doing what I think he's doing, then I think he is going to save a bucket load of fuel and probably might be able to go in at the same time as Edwards. But we'll find out how this one goes on. 22 minutes out of the hour has gone past, and the Fox Racing boys are Christian Schutzke, Alexander Schutzke, I think Marcus Lang is part of them as well.
Yeah.
All are still out on the racetrack, but there's a couple of battles close together. Braun and Vitorino are slowly getting back. They're slowly getting back together as well. Neither of these people are pitted. Alexander Schutzke, the highest pit stop runner, and he's in 12th.
Yeah, and he was on his marks in pit lane for just over 16 seconds. Robert Woodward came in. Phil Glover has decided to bring the Castrol livery special, the Toyota WRC tribute livery, as I like to call it. He's brought it in now, so on lap 13, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, the thing is that if it's the SR10s, then Edwards is going to go a hell of a lot longer than Schutzke. But looking at lap times, there were times when Edwards was a lot quicker than Schutzke, which was the case last time around because it was a quarter of a second. But then the previous lap to that, Schutzke was quicker by 0.3. So now Schutzke, out of turn 7, is right up the rear diffuser. He's nigh on NASCAR bump drafting. Our race leader, multi-time Radical Race Series champion in his own right, Simon Edwards. So a little bit of tactics being played here by the man from Germany in the 410. So good to see that there is very much a different strategy application, whether you're running an SR10 or you're running the SR8.
Yeah, I was just seeing how much lifting Schutzke's doing. The camera angle was quite bonkers on top of that thing. I'm not going to lie. He's running full speed. I don't. The SR10 must have a heck of a lot more. What is he doing? 165. Edwards on the 170s. This is 172. Schutzke's round about. This is about 5 miles an hour. He's losing on the straight alone.
Yeah, and there's always one of the things about the Battle of the Radicals is the fact of when you think about it, the SR10s run on a turbocharged Ford EcoBoost engine, whereas the Radical SR8 is a V8. So turbocharging to naturally aspirated, the turbo, once it spools past a certain point on the rev range, you get that instant Like, you go from possibly a little bit of anti-lag, and then straight away the power kicks in, as Edwards got very, very squirrely coming out of turn 7 on that particular occasion. He was very lucky he didn't lose the back end.
Yeah, he got a big old wiggle on. Big old wiggle on for Simon Edwards. There's a lift there from Shushka. Trouble is every time he lifts, he just ends up further away. It's almost like he needs to compensate and just stay right in behind him for the whole run. Don't lift, don't do anything backing away from him. Just, get that right, that might help. And just stay there.
One of the other things that the SR10 has, as to the cars that were brought on to iRacing, is that the SR10 has 425 horsepower. The SR8 has about 380, so already there's a 45 horsepower differential between the SR8 and the SR10 when it comes to the cars that we race on the service. But the beauty of the Battle of the Radicals is that there is a working group behind the scenes, including Simon Edwards, who try and keep these cars as close to performance as each other as possible. But that little bit of turbocharging is helping in the straight line stuff. So the likes of Edwards, the likes of Braun, Gonzaga, Regis will have this advantage over the SR8s in terms of top line speed.
They definitely will do. But the 8 does look a little bit more comfortable in through the horseshoe. He looks like he's got a little bit, look. He's almost got to back out of it. Something's got
it's right. Patricio Silva's coming to the pit lane for the first time, so we're probably not that far away from maybe our top 2 pitting in. I mean, the thing is that Shushka's dealing with all that dirty air that's being punched through, that's being, flying over his car, being in the slipstream of Simon Edwards the whole time. But yeah, like you say, that fuel window, if Shushka has been able to save enough fuel for maybe going on for an additional lap after, let's say 30 minutes of racing, and they haven't been lifting off here of Edwards and Shushka at all. No. As we're 27 minutes into the hour, I think it's going to be tight on pit stops, but it's going to be about how much fuel is Edwards going to take on board? Is it going to be the full, is it going to be the full amount? What about Shushka? Is he going to be able to have that chance to maybe short fuel by a second or a second and a half and still have enough to bring it to the end of the race? But he won't want to take that risk.
If they go half an hour, it's going to be one stop. If they can go half an hour, it'll be one stop. Gonzaga and Braun are coming together. They just swapped places. Braun had just got Gonzaga, and now Gonzaga, but is he further down the pit lane? Yeah, Gonzaga's going to be in 3rd. Braun will be sitting. Braun missed his pit stop. That's not going to help whatsoever. Heinz Braun there in behind. You just seen him had to reverse. Gonzaga pulls it like he's a proper race car driver, pointing the car already out of pit lane as these guys go now. I don't think tyres are going to be an option. Braun's gone. Braun's gone. Braun's gone.
What has Gonzaga done? Oh dear, 22.7. Oh, he lost 6.7 seconds in that pit stop.
Bonkers,
did George?
Isn't it?
Oh. The only other thing that, because I mean the track temperature isn't conducive to excessive degradation. 28.3 degrees here, JP. But if Gonzaga's found that either one or the other side of the set of tyres have needed changing, has he decided to stick on one side of tyres? Because that can sometimes happen, can't it?
It can, but looking at that whole pit stop, that car never rose up once. I think he's just gone longer fuel or whatever, or I'm not going to say miscalculated because I can't generally see that, but either that or he's just gone longer on the fuel. Lang and Braun are having a proper old go at each other here. This is going to give you the rough idea of the speed of the SR10. We're going to get him on the outside as well, which is even worse a place. Look at that. Bang. Through he goes. And Lang is just... Well, he's just looking at him, thinking, I can't really do a lot about this. Robert Woodward, this is an interesting one. Woodward and Akas, considering where Akas was right at the beginning of the race. They're now fighting on the racetrack down in 11th and 12th.
And Akas set the fastest lap of the race on a 1:41.9. He was on his roll, 28.7 second pit stop as Fabio Regis has pitted. He was running P3, so Tobias Teichel from Switzerland now takes P3. Graham Matthew, man from Scotland, is now up into 4th position, up 10 spots. So some good solid run from the number 72, but of course Teichel hasn't pitted, Matthew hasn't pitted, Edwards and Christian Schuster haven't yet pitted. Everyone else has done a pit stop. There's now again, we're just going to see that Fabio Regis is going to... Oh, what's happened to him? Did he speed in pit lane or something? Because that pit stop is incredibly lengthy for the Italian.
If he's 40 seconds past what he should be, then the answer will be yes. And that is the same problem for Henry Sweetlake, because of the fact that their pit stop is massively long. 104, 108, 125, 113, 103, 101. I don't know if the latter ones have done tyres, but I can tell you now that Fabio Regis is with a 43-second stop. It's possible that they've done tyres. Henry Sweetlake, I don't, saying that, he is 8 to 10 seconds slower than some of the guys in front of him in pit stops. So it is completely possible. But they're starting to come back together now, which is always good. Robert Woodward still tucked in behind Akas. Marcus Lang is now still there with Braun, and Christian Schutzker and Simon Edwards are about that close, to be honest.
Yeah, you can't even cover. You can just about cover them with an A4 piece of paper as things stand, because it's been nip and tuck between the pair. And I think this is a good strategy called by Schutzker, just to stick with Simon and see what can happen in pit lane. Is they're going to come out of turn 7 and then start burying the loud pedal quite hard to the floor coming out of turn 8. So, and it's that initial traction out of the corners that you can turn that SR8 and on a sixpence, and it's very, very good. Heinz Brown in the meantime has just gone off, and he's just dropped behind Marcus Lang. He's dropping down the order now. Has Heinz Braun hit trouble? Because more to the point, it's going to be off at turn 1. Rejoins! Oh no!
Oh, he mounted the curve on the way out.
That's one thing you don't do at turn 1, and especially with the fact of the new track limits that have been set at turn 1 as well by iRacing themselves.
Yeah,
it's been so it was a good run for Heinz Braun, as Robert Woodward now finally gets past Mehmet Akas for what is 10th position on the road. But still, I'm going to be really fascinated to see how much longer Edwards and Schuster at the front end of the field. They've got a 30-second gap between themselves and Tobias Teichel. Graham Matthew is about a further 13 seconds back. So they haven't pit. All 4 of them are yet to pit so far. As we've hit 33 minutes so far, they must be lifting and coasting like nobody's business, unless they're giving it the berries, as you like to say, and just try and extend that window for as long as possible. But they haven't caught any back markers yet.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I don't know how much lifting and coasting they have done, but I think if anybody's done any lifting and coasting, it is Mr. Christian Schutzker, to be honest with you. I think he's trying to get into pit lane at the same time Edwards is, and this is the problem. I think he needs to do it in pit lane. But the question is can they? Graham Matthews is in pit lane. He's dropped all the way down the order. He's back down in 12th now. If Schutzker is going to do this, he's got to do it. He's got to go in with Edwards. I think that is imperative. He's got to go in with him and try and do him on the pit stops.
Yeah, it's going to be quite crucial. Graham Matthew, 26.07 seconds on his marks in the pit lane, which equates to around about 1:05 in terms of total transfer time from pit lane entry to pit lane exit, including your stop. So, so Edwards, Schuster and Teichel, the only 3 drivers still out there, and we are just on the cusp of hitting 35 minutes. That's a lot of fuel mileage that these drivers have done to really try and open up that window. And looking at the gap between Simon Edwards and Marcus Lang at the minute, the gap is about 52.5 seconds total. So what I think they're trying to do is get themselves in a position where they can fight for those in front. Heinz Braun has had another drama because he's just lost a position to Turkey's Mehmet Akus in the 89. And then you've got Robert Woodward closing in on the man from Germany.
Well, I think it's
see
just past
here.
it in turn 1 here.
Yeah, it's just quite relatively straightforward.
It's one of them, though, isn't it? Going into that corner, you either just turn around and go, crack on. Because what else can he do about it? They can't do anything, can they? They're kind of stuck there at the moment as these guys are carrying on once more on the run down into turn number 1 again. Heinz Braun is ahead of Akas. Akas has gone in deep. Woodwards is sitting in the back going, I'm probably just going to sit here on this one, I think, because when this happens, if it goes off, it will go off together.
Yeah, but that was a pretty clean move that Akas just carried out over Braun at that particular occasion, just running, just completely throwing the Hail Mary to the outside at turn 1, ran a little bit deep, brought it back into line, kept it on the apex, and gave Braun the racing room that was required. But still, there's plenty of this race left to go, even though we say that, there's 24 minutes remaining, and still our top 3 have been running for over 21 laps. That's the top 2, Edwards and Christian Schuschka. Teichel's about, like I say, 30 seconds behind, as our leaders have now got past Mr. Superstar DJ himself, Stefan Mellis. I mean, it was quite funny when you said about him and Patricio Silva swapping positions 5 times in 1 lap. I was wondering if Stefan Mellis had his DJ decks out and was doing the musical chairs music accompanying that.
Could well be possible, dear sir. Could well be possible. I'll tell you. I'd be interested in seeing him live. I've never actually listened to his music at all, to be plainly honest. I don't think he's never sent me anything for me to listen to. So I'd be interested to see what type of music he plays. I doubt very much if it's ABBA, to be honest, or some Elvis Presley. I'd be very surprised if it is that.
No. Probably be some kind of EDM or trance music, considering where he's from anyway, from Belgium. They do love their...
didn't they? Was it Tomorrow? Is it called Tomorrowland?
Yeah, Tomorrowland. It's one of the big music festivals in the Benelux region of Europe. So, yeah, you never know. You never know. But still, 37.5 minutes to go. Oh, Mr. Glover has just got a slow down penalty. Oh. But at least it won't compromise him. Graham Matthew is now has been overtaken by Fabio Regis. So, yeah, I'm still wondering when these 2 leaders are going to come into the pit lane as well as our man in third, Tobias Teichel. But still, Robert Woodward, seeing the interesting battle between Mehmet Akas and Heinz Braun still in front of him. So this is for P8 on the road as we hit 22 minutes to go, buddy.
Yeah. Not long left now. Woodward again tucked in. Braun's there. Akas is there. I'd be very surprised if Woodward's got the pace in that SR8. It's that gear change. There was a gear change between 5th and 6th, and as he gear changed between 5th and 6th, the SR10 of Braun just went bye. Absolutely rocketed it off. Watch it go again here. So he goes down a 3rd, tops up, gets out the other side.
Yeah, he's banging off the rev limiter coming out of Le Mans.
Yeah, and there you go. Nothing on that. And then unfortunately, that's it. He's just there, and Braun's just like, see you later.
Yeah, it's...
There's something between 5th and 6th on the SR8. It just doesn't like. It might not just have that power appliance, shall we say.
Can also sometimes come down to engine and gear ratios. As well, as Akas dies to the inside at turn 1 on Braun. That was a beautiful little move that he facilitated there. So Akas back up into P8, but still the $64,000 US question that needs to be answered is when are our top 3 going to pit? As we run on board with the man from Switzerland, Tobias Teichel, the second leading car in the SR8 division. So, yeah, I mean, Tobias is also doing a pretty long run in this opening part of the race, even though we are just over 20 minutes. We're nearly 2/3 of the way through this hour here at Daytona International Speedway Road Course. But like you say, I think you're right. I think Shushka's got to time it to perfection, follow Edwards into the pit lane, and then do him on the pit stop and get out a couple of seconds ahead.
Absolutely, I agree. They've gone once more. They've gone again. These guys into turns number 5, coming through 6 and 7. And then go through once more. Christian Schutzke still tucked in behind. I'd be wondering. They can't surely be going much longer.
I don't think so. I think if you've got 64 litres at your disposal, if you're Simon Edwards, you might not be going full bore. I mean, his best lap was a 1:42.19. His last lap was a 42.6. Shushka was the low 42.7. So I think Edwards is playing the fuel mileage game, and especially when this is a very power-hungry and fuel-thirsty circuit as well to boot.
And he's always been in the front as well. That's why I'm quite surprised he hasn't come in earlier, because he's the one doing the work. Shushka's just cruising, following him, really. He's never really been looking aggressively at Simon Edwards. He's not looked aggressive. He's not had that body movement, the car movement, tucking out the inside, diving at him, getting close, giving him his bum a kiss. There's never been any of that from Shushka throughout this whole race. That's the thing, and I'd be interested to see A, when they go in, and B, how close is this going to be, and what's Shushka's fuel situation coming out. I think he's got to take less fuel. I think there must have been some saving going on, but I do wonder when and they're going to go in, because at the moment they've lapped everybody up to Graham Matthews.
Yeah, that's the question that we need to have answered, but still on the infield, that SR8, you can point, squirt, and get the traction out of the corner quite early, in comparison with the SR10, where you've got to just wait and bide your time, because the back end can get a little bit frisky if you're hitting the loud pedal a bit too hard coming out of the corners. But we've got back marker traffic, so this could provide an opportunity for Christian Schushka in second position. He goes a little bit high coming out of turn 7 and into turn 8, slides back into the wheel tracks of Simon Edwards. So this could be quite a defining moment of the race, especially with the drivers that they caught. That's Graham Matthew, I believe, in front in the number 72 car. So, yeah, you see the real estate that Edwards has closed up just on that back stretch alone coming out of turn 9. And then through the Le Mans chicane. Well, this could give an opportunity for Schushka. Well, he's going to go low to the low side, out of turn 12 and into 13. But the thing is that Graham Matthew kept out of the way. He's thought, right, okay, those are the leaders. I don't want to mess up their race because they're both contesting for the W. And as I say that, here we go. Pit lane, lock up from Edwards. And it looks like Schushka might be let's just see where they end up in their respective boxes in pit lane. Looks like going to
be close together.
Yeah. So this is going to be the interesting one here.
Oh.
So Edwards.
No. Give me no. There you go.
So and they started fueling at exactly the same time. So who is going to be on their marks, ready to go? Simon Edwards straight away, and Schushka 16.8 seconds. So maybe he had to fuel up a little bit more than we anticipated. Because when you think about it, it's a V8 car. A V8 uses a heck of a lot more fuel than, say, an EcoBoost engine, which is an inline 4-cylinder, 2.3 engine, turbocharged, that was when the Ford Mustang was sold over here in the United Kingdom. It was the entry-level Mustang. If you couldn't afford a 5-litre GT, you'd have to go for the EcoBoost. So with turbocharging, less cylinders, and a little bit more punch because of that turbo, the fuel efficiency on a turbocharger is a little bit better than a V8.
Yeah, of course. I am wondering what Trichel's going to be able to do here, and whether or not he's going to be able to provide Schushka, Christian that is, with a little bit of help getting hold of Simon Edwards.
Yeah, that's going to be the crucial thing. And there we see the slipstream assist. It's like Ricky Bobby and Cal Norton Jr. all over again.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I think Trishaw will probably be more than likely in. You know, he's gone one lap longer than the two in front, but he's probably nigh on fumes. If that red light is not on for the fuel right now, I will be very, very surprised.
Yeah, unfortunately, the dynamics of that does not help us, but he's going one more. Still going. Still going, and Stefan Mellis has gone and done some drama. Oh dear. Into the horseshoe. Did he just blow that engine? He did.
I think he did.
How did you do that? There was a double shift there. See the puff come out of the back of that?
Yeah, that was it. Oh, dear.
Boff, boff, boff there. Went down too quickly.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
The
I
engine
wonder if
and
he's
the
still got his
gearbox
fast
went.
repair.
Yeah, they just went. Engine and gearbox went. No bueno. Goodbye. Bang.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't do that to me, dear sir. And unfortunately for him, it was all gone. Mr. Gonzaga has got Mr. Vitorino tucked up behind him. Heinz Braun, Akas and Woodward, they're still in the same positions they were, and they're still battling away with each other, and they've still swapped places. In fact, Woodward and Braun have swapped places again, and Akas has also been involved in this. Mellis with a meatball, well, we kind of figured that would be fairly obvious, but Vitorino and Gonzaga going side by side here, coming into Le Mans.
Yeah, Gonzaga will get. Well, they'll both get the benefit of side drafting each other anyway. But yeah, Gonzaga just nips ahead by about a tenth, heading into the braking zone, and is able to park it on the racing line. But Vitorino's got a chance his moment, and if he can get the run coming out of the Le Mans chicane at turn 11, let's just see. He's going to stick down low with Gonzaga and look at the slipstream pull that the Brazilian has got. He's going to look to the outside of the Portuguese driver in the form of Jorge Gonzaga, as they will now come through into the tri-oval at over 170 miles an hour. And the thing is, well, Gonzaga had the overspeed there, so a couple of clicks more of miles an hour was in the favour of the 113. So Gonzaga parks it on the apex at turn 1, and Vitorino's got to gather himself up, dust himself off, and go at it again.
Yeah, Stefan Mellis is in YouTube chat. Blown. I did. Did you save your fast repair?
Obviously you didn't. That's why he's in YouTube chat.
Yeah, that's what I'm probably guessing. He's either used it by mistake on the first pit stop, and otherwise he could have been in and out. But you see lap times of the boys on your screen at the moment. Vitorino on the top, Gonzaga below. Gonzaga's been a little bit slower than Vitorino since lap 23, right the way through to 27. We're now on 28, so we'll find out how that goes. Oh no! Oh no, no, no!
Trishaw, has he run out of fuel?
No, he's going to go round.
Oi!
Oi, oi, Savaloy. And unfortunately for Trishaw, he goes round the order. Still sitting in third, though. That's Gonzaga and Vitorino going side by side again. It's going to be interesting going into Le Mans. Is Gonzaga still going to battle him? He is. He's making Vitorino go around the outside.
Oh!
Yay, yay.
I did say you don't want to do that, and Vitorino picks up a slowdown as a direct result of that incident.
Yeah. The slowdown has managed to get off, but they're going to have to go once more. Gap up front, Edwards 2.7. Vitorino underneath. Gonzaga, I think, let him go then, Alex, to be honest with you.
To be completely truthful, I don't think Vitorino really had the right of way on that corner. The thing was, George had the inside line. It was clear to see, and Bruno just decided, well, I'll give it a punt, and he got a little bit of afters as a result of it, because he just went in there. And I said at the top of the show, didn't I? You don't go too wide into Le Mans. You don't, because you're gonna. If you're on the outside, yeah, it is very difficult, because you're gonna have to open up the steering to then get yourself back in behind the car in front of you, rather than, and it just causes all that drama. That's drama that you don't need. And as Bruno found out It caused him to cut the track. He got a slowdown penalty. George reciprocated, let him back through, but then decided, well, I'm going to go back past you anyway because this is my position. And more importantly, this is a P2 in the SR10 division as well. So they're battling for a place on the top 3 in the SR10s tonight. So it's the battle for second and third in the division.
Absolutely. You can see that's how they're looking at the moment. Edwards, Gonzaga, Vitorino, Shushka, Trisho, and Shushka. That's Alexander. That is the situation in the SR10s and SR8s currently. So these guys, that's how it will finish if they stays like this. Whether or not goes, whoa, he's got it wrong. Oh no.
What is it they say? Once bitten, twice shy. First on the entry into Le Mans, now the exit.
Can I get there? Oh, I'm a long way away. Ooh, I'm a long way away. Let's just do this really quickly and know what's happening on your screen. They've got turbo boost on at this moment in time.
Yeah, kit's being brought in as the cavalry.
Mm-hmm.
Super pursuit mode.
I think he just got this completely wrong, didn't he?
He did.
Bumps the curb. Did he lose it here, or was it?
No, it was coming out of Le Mans. It was coming out of Le Mans that he bumped the curb, and it would have been on the left side coming through out of turn 11. So
it's a long way back, unfortunately. It seems like we might not be able to hit that because technically he did not hit, and it wasn't signalled as an incident. Ooh, I am interested in where 1.5 seconds has gone though.
Yeah, looking at it from
Where
this
has it gone?
aspect. Well, let's put it this way. Sector 4 last time around, Shushka, Christian, was 6.4 tenths of a second quicker than Simon. And he gained another, so in sector 1, Shushka was quicker by 1.5 tenths. Then 3.5 tenths in sector 2. 3.5 tenths in sector 3, and then it's in the latter 2 sectors that Simon gathers it back because it's all straight line stuff.
Yeah, well, you see sector 5 is 6 tenths. 4 he's lost time as well. Let's see what goes on. He's slower in 1 again. This could be on for a battle towards the end of this.
Yeah, but look at the battle behind though. Alexander Shushka versus teammate Marcus Lang. They're close now as well, so that's the battle for P3 overall, but more importantly, P2 in SR8s, and they're about 16.5 or so seconds behind Christian Schuschka. So the battle of the German teammates is about to hit front and centre, I would imagine, in the next 7 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's the German 2, 3, and 4 currently. Wow. Look at the cornering on that 8. He is literally just closed right in at the horseshoe. Where's that gear swap? It's a lot closer than he has been. It's like he's turned the wick up.
Well, Simon lost the second combined in sectors 2 and 3 alone, which is quite astounding when you think about it. But that's when you're, sector 1 is just before the Rodriguez International Horseshoe. Then sector 2 is just before turn 5. Sector 3 is just before 6 and 7. So it's where he's able to point and squirt and get that traction down early. That's where Christian Schuschka is making up the time. And you can see there the differential. Yeah, like half a second, 4 tenths, 3 tenths, and bang, Simon comes back at him and goes, right, I'll leave you a little bit in the dust with this straight line speed, and makes up 4 tenths in the process. But Schuschka getting really, really close through turn 3 at the Rodriguez International Horseshoe. And we've only got less than 5 3/4 minutes to go. So I think Schuschka senses a little opportunity. Now the big thing is that Edwards fueled for 13.37 seconds in pit lane, Schuschka 16.8. So is it the case that Schuschka, by over-fueling a little bit, has given himself that little bit of a potential advantage, not in the straight line stuff, but when it comes to fuel management?
Is that the problem? The fact that Edwards has got to do that.
Yeah.
He's got
But
to
it's weather
feel safe.
Yeah. That's going to be the big question now, because we hit 5 minutes to go, and it's going to be, after this, I think 3 laps remaining. So we're on lap 32. When you think about it, 1 minute 40, call it 1 minute 45. That's 3 minutes 30. So yeah, we'll have 3 more laps of racing here at Daytona, and Christian Schuschka is really, really close. It's a tenth and a half. Okay, on the straight line stuff, Edwards is now expanding that to about 3 tenths as they're going to come across the line, 3.5 tenths or so. But it's in that first, in that second and third sector, and well, it's in the middle 3 sectors where Schuschka is just making up that time. And again, you see the different ways of how they're driving the cars into turn 1. Edwards going a little bit wider in the SR10, whereas Schuschka's a little bit more measured. And then to the inside he goes at turn 3. It was only a matter of time, and Christian Schuschka just dive-bombed on Simon Edwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We knew it was coming. That infield section of Christian Schuschka was always strong. The problem is he can't hold on. I don't know if he can hold on to this. He's got to use that straight line over the next 4 minutes, or that infield over the next 4 minutes. But they're not just doing the infield, Alex. There's the lot that runs. There's the Le Mans chicane. Then it's back round on another run, and that's where Edwards is going to get closer again. He's 7.5 tenths.
But the thing is that there's one other factor here. If neither of them change tyres, how bad are the rear tyres on Simon Edwards' car? Well, the way he's gaining at the minute in the straight line as they go down the back stretch into the Le Mans chicane, here on lap 33, that gap was 7 tenths coming out of the Le Mans, coming out of turn 9, and it's now up to 4. Look, that Schuschka absolutely manhandled that Le Mans chicane that time around, and the gap goes up again. So if he can build a buffer to around about 6 or 7 tenths of a second, because look at the closing speed from Simon Edwards. They're heading into the tri-oval now. It's going to be easy as pie for Edwards to get through. So he retakes the lead for what will be 2 laps remaining here, JP. And Christian Schuschka did give Simon Edwards a little bit of a dive bomb last time around, but now he's got to close it up and do it all over again. But this time he was 4.5 tenths coming into turn 1, and that is not enough to try and throw a dive bomb on Simon Edwards. But Schuschka deep on the brakes into 3. He's chancing his luck here, but it's that straight line speed of Simon Edwards that is really helping. But Schuschka was trying for the inside line into 4. Edwards says, "No, sunshine, you're not going to get through."
Do you know the really awful thing? And I'm going to try and be as nice as pie when I say this. Not only did Edwards overturn 6 tenths, he also put another 3.5 tenths on him going past him.
Exactly.
That's nearly a second. I don't know if that's balanced quite enough here for me, because that SR10 just absolutely left that 8 for dust. No matter, look, it's even going the wrong way, and look how close Schuschka is. There's no air. There was no air between him and Edwards, and he still couldn't stay with that 10. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if Schuschka's sitting there going, I ain't even going to get there even if I wanted to.
Yeah, well, it's still, after this lap, 3.56 miles to go, and that looks a better exit from Schuschka coming out of Le Mans, but it's when we get to that 1/10 phase that, look, there's that gap. Now a car length and a half. So it is going to be white flag this time round. And we will go on to the 35th and final lap of this 1 hour enduro here at Daytona for the Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals. So 60 seconds remain on the timer. And yeah, I mean, the thing was, at least Christian Schuschka managed to get an overtake maneuver done on Simon Edwards. But look how close he is into turn 3 again.
God,
He's going to dive to the inside. And there he goes. Within the last 3 laps of the race, Christian Schuschka has got through on Simon Edwards at turn 3 on point, on merit.
The question is how much is he going to be able to get away from him? He needs 9 tenths coming out of Le Mans. 6.5, 6, 7. Oh, 6, 7. 8/10 coming through. He's got to get it out the other way. 9. A second.
1 second.
Oh.
That's on the bubble.
1-1. This is going to be very, very tight. It's about 8 to 9/10. Here comes the 10. Look at Edwards' gap. 9-4, 9-1, 8-9, 8-7, 8-6. It's coming down rapidly. He needs 9/10 coming out the other end because that's what Edwards gave him. He's got to get this chicane right. Oh, he's got to slingshot it. Oh, the only saving grace is he hasn't got to go to turn number 1. He has not got to go all the way down to 1. Where is Edwards? There he is. The pink machine is going to be a run down to the line. I've got a funny feeling Edwards is going to get this. Shushka's got nothing. There's nowhere he can go. Christian Shushka. Oh, Simon Edwards comes over the line. Winner for Simon Edwards. Christian Shushka. Dude, he was like putting up a fight, wasn't he? He was there scrapping. Oh. He tried to get up the inside. He just couldn't get up the inside. Alexander Shushka and Marcus Lang. Marcus going on the high side. Is this going to go down well? Run down to the line as well. It's going to be low. It's not going to be Lang. This is going to be an interesting one.
Oh, Vitorino versus Akers and Woodward. Woodward might get the slipstream on the man from Turkey. Yes, he's trying, but Akers is defending in towards the tri-oval. Where's Woodward going to put it? And look, they're both closing on Vitorino. Akers to the outside. He's got the Brazilian. Oh. He's done it by 12 thousandths.
He got him at the line.
Mamma mia, mercy, mercy me.
There's another one. We've got Sweet Lake and Regis going over now. There is Henry. There is Regis in the background. He's coming at him. Oh, Henry went high. Regis is going to come down. It's going to be a run down to the line as well, but I think Mr. Sweet Lake's going to hold on. Is he? Is he? Is he? Oh, yes! Oh, my God. 0.011. He hung on by there. Did Mr. Sweet Lake. Oh, you lucky rascal, you.
All I can say is that Simon Edwards, with that turbocharged 4-cylinder engine in that SR10, as soon as he came out of the Le Mans chicane, he knew it was time to say, peekaboo, I see you, and I get past you at the same bloody time. So
yeah, he was saved then by that speed.
But still, credit where credit was due to Christian Shushka. Okay, yeah, he's won the SR8 class, but more to the point, he gave Simon Edwards a fright twice in the last 3 laps at turn 3.
Absolutely. Simon Edwards is your winner in that SR10. Christian Schuchka in the SR8s. Alexander Schultz and Marcus Lang. It's a 1-2-3 for Fox Racing, I believe it was. George Gonzaga getting second in the SR10s. Remember, Akas grabbing third, just with him and Bruno Vitorino, Robert Woodward going over the line. Heinz Broad was down in 9th, with Phil Glover managing to get a top 10. Tobias Trichel down in 11th after being in 3rd. Right up until the pit stops. Henry Sweetlake got 12th. Fabio Regis, Graham Matthews, Patricio Silva, Kevin Hardwood, and Stefan Mellis. We'll bring in Mr. Phil Glover. We'll have a quick chat with him now as well. Phil, welcome back in, buddy. Now we've figured out it was an hour's race. How are you?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Good. That's
where did I finish? I've no idea.
10th.
10th. How many did we have in it? About 11.
17. No, you didn't have 11.
Okay.
You had 17.
Oh, not too bad then, I suppose.
No, it was good.
But more importantly, Phil, you finished 6th in the SR10s, buddy.
Yeah, but there weren't that many. Again, there weren't that many in the thing, was there?
10.
Okay, well, it all helps with. I'm good at doing myself down, aren't I? It all helps with the points at the end of the day, doesn't it?
Exactly. How was it out there at Daytona anyway?
I quite enjoyed it. It was interesting in the motion sim because I'm leaning off to my left half the time, falling out my chair.
Yeah, I bet. You've got your seatbelts on, though, haven't you?
Yeah, I got seatbelts on.
Oh, well, there you go then. That's all that matters. Yeah. Isn't it? You know what I mean?
You have to have seatbelts when you drive like me.
I bet you do as well. There's a lot of grass, isn't there? Where are we going next week, Phil?
We're going to the Tarmacadden Raceway, I believe.
Where?
Tarmacadden Raceway.
Where's that?
I don't know. It's got black stuff and you follow it round, apparently.
You're going to Long Beach Street Circuit, Phil.
Long Beach? Oh, okay. Well, if it's not going so well, I can pull over to a nearby vendor and grab myself a coffee or something.
Absolutely, absolutely. Phil, thank you so much for joining us, buddy. Well done on your top 10 anyway, and your 6th place in that class. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go, mate?
Well, it's great to hear you back on the airwaves. Where's Jimbo? Where's he gone?
He's got a prior engagement, unfortunately, this evening.
I don't know. Busy man. Yeah, great to hear you, James. And look forward to speaking to you from the US again.
Okay, bud. You take care, mate. We'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, and you. Cheers. Bye.
Alex, very positive, Mr. Phil Glover, as he always is done there as well. Do we think, one of the things I want to say, do you think that the 10 was just a little bit too powerful?
Yeah, I think it's, as I was saying earlier, when you've got a turbocharged engine with a smaller displacement, you get that instant like grunt as soon as it gets past, like, say, 3,500-4,000 RPM, and then the car like really gets that secondary power band that it needs. And okay, yes, they're about the same weight, the SR10s and the SR8s, but more to the point, a smaller turbocharged engine will have a lot more mid-range torque, whereas the V8, it sort of plateaus a little bit. So even though you've got natural aspiration on the V8s for the SR8, so yeah, the SR10s, because of how engines have developed over the years, it always comes to the point that turbocharging does provide that little bit more oomph, so to speak. And that's where it lied. It was just the speed differential. But you know what? Credit where credit is due to Christian Schuschka for taking the win in the SR8s and doing a move on our man that took the win after the 1 hour race here at Daytona.
Absolutely. Well, let's bring him in to the booth. Your winner, Mr. Simon Edwards. Did the SR10 have too much power? Well, let's find out. Simon, welcome in, bud. How are you?
Hello. It went a bit wrong how we set that up.
You managed to get about 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, originally it was meant to start as 2 packs, and we were going to start miles behind them, so that because the pace is about equal, so that we wouldn't catch them through the race. But we were mixed on the grid, so it went a bit crazy. So yeah, me and Christian worked well together there. And then all I needed to make sure is I didn't make a mistake when I was behind him. Like you say, I could just zoom. I knew I had it.
Was you worried at all? Because Christian was driving out of his skin. To get that SR8 even remotely close to you, on that infield, he was pulling chunks out of you. That SR8 had you done on that infield. He got you out to 1.2 seconds by the time you went from turn number 1 right the way through to turn 7 before you on that run down into the Le Mans chicane as well. Were you worried at all?
I was only worried that he'd make a mistake and clip the back of me, but I was pretty confident that he was not going to dive until he needed to, and then I was just going to be ready wherever he wanted to do it. I wasn't going to stop him doing it. So I didn't know if I'd get back to him, though. Obviously I had to wait till late in the race before he showed his cards, but when he did the first time, I thought, as long as I don't have a little slide or anything behind him, if I can get out of that last chicane, I can zoom before the line. It felt cruel, especially when he'd got a lot more pace at the end of the race than I had. I was sliding all over the place in those last sort of 5 laps, so I was having to be rather careful and make sure I didn't lose the rear.
Yeah, we worked out that you were at one point 6.5 temps coming out of the chicane, out of the Le Mans chicane, and you not only caught the 6.5 temps, you also put 3.5 temps on him the other side. And I had to slow down. Yeah, before you even got into turn 1, so that's a meteoric amount of speed that the SR10 had. But Christian, fair play to him, drove absolutely out of his skin. On to Long Beach next week. completely different circuit. What are we expecting from the 10 and the 8 next week?
Well, we'll be putting a higher downforce on the 10, so it'll be easier to balance them. So I think the 8 will fly around there. So it'll be a bit of weight on the 8 and probably a couple of % of power. And we should be able to make it a more boppy race.
Oh, yeah, I guess that didn't happen for this one.
Well, it was intended. We couldn't bop it because we couldn't take enough power off the 10. So, like I say, we decided, but we failed to do it properly. Was let them grid up as class. So whatever the 8s qualified, we were going to let them go 10 or so seconds in front of us, and their pace should have kept them in front of us for the race. Over the lap, they've got the pace, especially if they're towing each other.
Who set the shit up then? Because it didn't happen.
Well, it's his initials are JG.
Oh, Mr. Gonzaga, of course it would be there as well.
Yeah, he was apologising profusely on the grid, but I don't think it turned out really bad because it gave me and Christian something interesting and different than we thought we were going to be doing.
Hey, it gave me and Alex an insight, the fact that the website still had it at 8 and 14 laps. So we were calling it on the run down to the line in the last lap of the race.
Yeah.
And not one person told us that you'd swap this for an hour endurance.
Oh, sorry.
Not
I didn't realise. No, that's another. Should we blame JG for that one as well?
Yeah, so
we'll blame him for everything tonight, shall we?
Yeah, it's all George's fault. So if you watch
how long did it take you to guess?
When you went past the race, I was like, Alex, why is there 10 laps?
And then we pulled Phil. Yeah, then we pulled Phil into the booth, and he said, "Well, I don't know who changed it, but it was announced," and we were like.
Yeah, nobody told us.
So we were both like two chipmunks looking at each other saying, "What's going on here?
Yeah.
What's happened?" We didn't know what was going on, so we just carried on, and then we managed to be able to take a breath, be able to chat a little bit more, and it turned out all right at the end. But it was just like that. The thing is that if that's announced in the regulations or like a Discord chat, well, yeah. It needs to be changed on the website because that's that's part of our resource material. You see.
Yeah. I'll give him a nudge, with a closed fist.
Even just a DM.
No, not a nudge with a closed fist. It's a nudge with an elbow in the ribs for good measure, just in case.
I don't even mind if he just drops me a DM and says, just to let you know, James
I
has changed.
thought he would have done that, but obviously
no, he did
must
not.
have been
But, hey,
busy.
listen, we managed to get through it anyway. We might have sounded plonkers for about the first 15 minutes when we were calling it the run down to the line. But other than that, we're all good. Anyone you want to shout Simon out? Shout out before we let you go?
I'll give Christian a shout out there for working with me. He could have easily, like you said, round the slower part, he could have been diving here, there, and everywhere. Although I would have changed my tact, I would have let him dive, and then I would have zoomed past again, and then done the same. I'm trying to make it so we couldn't lose time.
Story.
Yeah. We might have even been able to go faster that way. I don't actually know. I wasn't. We were going faster anyway, so I thought. This is okay as it is. So Christian, I'll give a shout out. And I shouldn't have stole it off him really, but I couldn't resist.
You're a racer driver. You're always going to. Don't talk wet. You were going to stay behind him and just push that SR8 along. The day that would happen would be the day I dye my hair green, Simon. Right, you take care, buddy. I'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, catch you. See you.
Bye. Simon Edwards there as well. At least he was honest, Alex. He was never going to let him have it on that one. Final words from you, dear sir.
Well, from the top speed of Daytona, it's going to be the mad close quarter streets of Long Beach. They better be on their A game next week because those walls do bite back hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on a night where George Gonzaga just got everything wrong, apparently we're blaming him for the whole thing. So there we go. Happy days.
Blame George.
Blame George. Hashtag blame George. It's been an interesting one here as well, but that wraps up round 3 at Daytona Roval. Join us next week as we go into Long Beach. I've been JP. I've been alongside Alex Goldschmidt here this evening. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on a track sometime. Good night.